What's up, my fellow fiends? It's Nim here, and today I'm back with something just a little bit different. We've seen a lot of horror stories on this channel, and sometimes it can be a bit hard to remember why we all keep coming back to this hobby. So, let's offset that with a little look at the fun side of RPGs with some glory stories. First, we're gonna start with I Tackle the Hellhound. I've been playing Pathfinder with the same group for a few years now, and recently my best friend, who is a part of this group, started a new campaign based on the Hell's Rebel module. For the uninitiated, the idea is that you're in a city controlled by devil-worshipping Nazis, and you have to start a citywide rebellion. The very first scene is a protest that turns into a riot, and the goal is to beat up some guards and secret police in the crowd so people can escape, then peace yourself out. We're all level 1 characters, just starting out. No upgrades, no special gear, no nothing. Anyway, my character is a tiefling brawler, a fighter monk hybrid class. He's hot pink, he wears a bush hat, a tattered shirt, and booty shorts. He is the very definition of a himbo. He's also the first character I've ever played who isn't a Dexy face. He's dumb, he isn't skilled, but man can he pack a wallop. And I'm itching to see what he can do. The cue for everyone to cut and run happens. The captain of the guard, Nox, marches out and unleashes her Hellhound. Hellhounds are apparently CR3 creatures. We're all supposed to run from this thing. It runs up to where I've been absolutely destroying some guards and unleashes its breath weapon, which hits me and kills everyone in front of me. However, the damage wasn't high enough to pass my 5-point energy resistance against fire. At this point, I go, The DM asks me what I do. I say, I'm going to tackle the Hellhound. Full disclosure, we're playing with hero points, which factor into some of the rolls I'll describe. So, I roll to tackle the Hellhound, and I succeed. The DM rolls to have it bite me, and fails. I roll to pin the Hellhound, and I succeed. The DM rolls to bite me, fails. Then I start punching the Hellhound, doing nearly 10 points of damage each hit. I'm actually winning against this thing. And to my chagrin, I learn later that at this point I could have instantly killed it by using martial flexibility to gain Throat Slicer and coup de grace it. The DM counters by having Nox step up to me and whack me with her sword. She's also a much higher level, so she does 10 points of damage, which is exactly my HP. Now that I'm at 0 points, I can choose to run away or do one more action. If I run, I likely can't run faster than the Hellhound or Nox, so I'll die anyway. If I do one more action, I drop into negative hit points immediately. So, I roll one more attack, and get a confirmed critical. 20 hit points of damage in one hit. The DM described it as, "You've never heard a Hellhound whimper before." I fell unconscious, but not before reducing the Hellhound to one single hit point. I was dragged inside the fortress and captured, but my party elected to rescue me. That'll be a story for another day, of course, but now wherever I go, the NPCs recognize me as the brave idiot who tackled a Hellhound. Yes! I love this! Let your players impact the world, even if it's silly! That's the kind of stuff they'll remember for so long. Also, gotta give props to my tiefling family out there and our, fire resistance. We are the best. Thank you very much. Okay, on to the next one. The Bag of Holding Rocks. In the late game stage of my group Storm King's Thunder campaign, no spoilers here, we all decided to spend a lot of gold we just got on bags of holding for everyone. I, as a half-orc barbarian, get an idea to play a prank on some of the others by loading their bags with rocks, so they'll have to spend time taking them out or unload them every time they want to put a new item in. So my barbarian loads her bag with rocks. She fails every single stealth check it would have taken to get the slip on the others, and resolves to do so another day. For the rest of the campaign, I would routinely forget that I needed to remove the 500 pounds of rocks from my inventory every time I needed to add something to it. I ended up turning a prank meant to be a one-off joke for the other people in my party and turned it not just on my character, but on myself. This resulted in any time she put something in, she would leave a pile of rocks behind. To be fair, I never had more than a +0 to intelligence for that campaign. Oh no, when you roleplay so well that you become your character for a while. Yes. Now, onto our final story of the evening. My barbarian created his own legend. Hi all, this is a story from many years ago, so if the details are a little bit blurry, please forgive me. I've been playing tabletop RPGs for about 17 years, and after so many great and terrible stories, it's nice to have somewhere to share. I was playing a human barbarian, nothing extravagant, who was obsessed with being remembered. This was fairly early on in my playing days, and backstories at the time were a little thin on the ground for me. Me and my DM came up with an awesome story within a story, where anytime my barbarian killed an enemy of note, be it notoriety, personal experience, bounty, anything like that, my barbarian was then allowed to add an enchantment or upgrade to his weapon that tied to the enemy he defeated. He started with a pair of gauntlets and would just beat his opponents to a pulp. Over time, however, those gauntlets became a force to be reckoned with. From the top of my head, those gauntlets became spiked, vampiric, vicious, immune to heat and flame, shocking, chilling, bloodthirsty, necrotic, and a host of other enchantments. They were entirely broken and overpowered, to the point my DM asked me to sacrifice them. At first, I was unwilling to do this because I had spent so much time, nearly 2 years IRL, to create them. But eventually we had a discussion, and I decided that I couldn't sacrifice his weapons, but I could sacrifice that character. And thus, the legendary Gauntlets of Cain were born in that DM's universe. He ran future campaigns with parties searching for the gauntlets. My barbarian's greatest wish was fulfilled, and throughout the annals of history, his name and legend were passed down for future adventurers to have their own aspirations. TLDR, wish fulfillment of my barbarian and the birth of a legendary weapon. Oh man, that is fantastic. My group actually had something similar happen with my first character ever. Her name was Matilda, and she was a witch. Her backstory involved being raised by a true neutral night hag, and she and everyone in the outer city of Baldur's Gate called Granny. Granny was the leader of the local witches' coven. Our DM had so much fun playing her, and the table liked her so much that she's shown up for a cameo at least once in most of our games. The story around the table is just that Granny is present in every reality and very powerful, but just likes to keep to herself. Anyway guys, this has been my first try at some glory stories, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. I personally feel like I have a harder time coming up with things to say about this, but I guess if you maybe wanted me to share more of my own stories whenever we do glory stories, maybe that's something I could look into. I have a few more things I'd be willing to share that I think would be cool enough to be counted as glory stories. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you'd be so kind, do leave a comment and a like down below. Please subscribe. Guys, we've almost hit 300 subscribers. I cannot believe it. Thank you so much. I love you all. Bye-bye.